Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have something a bit different from what I've usually done. I'm going to be talking about video games. I'm kind of surprised that I actually haven't done anything gaming related just because I really like video games. I think I play quite a bit. I don't know. Compared to some people, maybe not, but I like video games. I play them quite a bit. So I'm doing a tier list of all the video games I completed or played this last year in 2022. I'm kind of already a bit we're kind of already a bit into 2023, so I don't know if this video is a bit late, but I'm doing this video anyway. Um, but yeah, I have like what the heck? I have about I think about a dozen games on this list right now. I don't know if that's a lot or a little compared to some people, but looking at some of the games here, you probably realize that some of these games take a lot of time to complete. So kind of makes sense if you think this is a few, but I don't know. Tell me in the comments if like how about how many games you think you can complete, if it's more than this or less than this, but I don't know. Also, something I should say is I only play video games on my Nintendo Switch. So, a lot of these are, you know, focused on Nintendo games and games on the Switch. I don't know. That's just all I play on. I don't really have anything else to play on, so that's just the way it is. I guess I have a Wii, but yeah, I like Nintendo games. I don't know. Maybe I will. I was about to say I don't think I'm gonna play anything on the Wii, but I don't know. Maybe sometime I'll just randomly play something on the Wii, and next year I'll have that on my list because I plan to do this in the future. But anyway, let's get started on this. I'm gonna probably put these in different orders just so I can, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm gonna talk about that later. But okay, I want to find something that I can rate a bit easier. I'm like now that I'm looking at this, I'm having a hard time. These are all games I enjoyed, which is why my tier list goes S to D. I don't have an F tier. I wouldn't need to use it anyway. I might try to spread these out on purpose though, but I don't know. Okay, Borderlands 2. That's what we'll start with. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with A tier for Borderlands 2. It's a great game. Just a really nice mixture of first person shooter and RPG. I played this like co-op the whole time, and that's really fun. I I don't know. I don't think there's really anything I can complain about this game, but I also feel like there's nothing above and beyond about it. So I'm gonna stick with A tier. Uh, this I think one thing I'll say is I did not pay attention to the story at all. I don't know if the story's really good and that's something I should have paid attention to, but I don't know. It's a really solid game. I feel like it has a nice level of difficulty that I really enjoyed. Okay. Oh, okay. Next one up is Ocarina of Time, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I had a lot of frustrating moments with it, and I feel like it wasn't like it's easy to say, oh, well, you're just not good at the game, and the game's too hard for you or whatever. I don't think that was it. I think this game just has a lot of things that it doesn't feel as polished maybe. I don't know. The best example I can give is the water temple, but that's something I hear like everyone is aware that the water temple in Ocarina of Time is not great. Like that part was just straight up not fun. Okay, I'm putting it in B right now, but I'm still like trying to figure out my thoughts. It's not it's not a bad game. Like the fact that I played through all of it and completed it, like I enjoyed it. And okay, there were definitely parts where I had to look up a tutorial on it, and that's sort of I don't really care. I think people sometimes think that looking up tutorials is like oh, you're not a pro gamer because you look up tutorials all the time and you need help. But I feel like I don't know. There's just some points where I'm not going to spend an hour figuring out a puzzle because that's just going to make my experience so much worse rather than just looking it up. I try to avoid looking up too many things, but I had so many moments like that in Ocarina of Time where I just had to look some up. I'll stick it in B. I feel like overall, compared to every other game I've played, it's probably not going to be in B. But just for this list specifically, I'm going to try to spread things out more. Okay, but then next one up is Majora's Mask, and I think Majora's Mask is definitely better than Ocarina of Time. I don't know for sure if it's A tier. I might have to reorder things, but Majora's Mask, I just had a overall funner time playing. It feels like, you know, Ocarina of Time, it was their first 3D Zelda game, and there were a lot of things where they did a great job on it, but I feel like people give it too much credit. A lot of times I hear people say Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game because like from what I hear, people just say, "Oh, it's because they did such a great job of bringing the series to 3D." And it's like, okay, yes, they did, but just doing that doesn't make it a great game. I feel like in Majora's Mask, it feels like they took everything they learned from Ocarina of Time and just improved on it. I didn't have to look as many things up. It was an overall. I'm trying to think because they're pretty similar games. I'll say that, but I feel like everything is just feels a bit more polished. Um, I don't know. I think one thing I will say, Ocarina of Time, the final boss fight in Ocarina of Time, significantly better. Majora's Mask, the final boss, I don't know. I like most Zelda games, the final boss is always just such a fun experience. But in Majora's Mask, it was cool, but it was okay overall. I think I'll stick with A tier for that one. Okay, Dead Cells. Dead Cells is such a great dungeon crawler experience, but I feel like as I played it more, like okay, the game is like great. A tier, like maybe even S tier for most of the game. But then I feel like the end part, like after I got to the final boss once, everything after trying to, get to the final boss again and trying to defeat it again was just sort of annoying. It was because there just came a point where you couldn't improve anything, and it's like, of course you have to get better at the game, but it also just felt annoying spending like 20 minutes trying to get as far as possible, and then when you die, like you can't do anything because you've already upgraded everything you can, and it's just a lot of times it just felt like when I beat the game finally, I sort of felt like it was just because I got lucky with the loot drops and stuff like that. Not necessarily because I, improved and got better. And I feel like that is, I don't know, it was a pretty significant blow to it. Um, so do I think it's probably worse than Majora's Mask, I think. But, I don't know. That last part of the game and also the final boss, it didn't feel like a final boss. It was just like, oh, I beat it. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay, I'll stick it there. Screw it. I'm putting it down into B. Above, yeah, above Ocarina of Time. Come on. There we go. Okay. Yeah. It's still a great game, but I think like that ending part, I don't know. It feels like it could have been done better. Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This one I played, like I finished this at the beginning of 2022. And so my memory on it probably isn't as great for these other ones. Okay. Cuz like I started it in 2021 and I played most of it in 2021, but then I beat it in 2022. I also wanted to put it on the like I don't know, maybe I didn't even beat it in 2022, but I mostly wanted to put this on the list cuz I have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Kind of sucks that I didn't play Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but it just barely came out like yeah, I didn't have time, and I barely got it for like Christmas. So okay, I'll talk about these two together since same game series. But I overall I like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. These are both fantastic games. I'm gonna put Xenoblade Chronicles 1 in S tier right now. I think this is just a fantastic game. It's probably my first like real RPG experience, I feel like maybe. Because I've played, like, I don't think people count Zelda as much of a RPG. It's sort of in a weird area where it's not really an RPG. This is definitely my first, like, JRPG experience. Because I feel like JRPGs are almost, like, more leaning into the very core of what an RPG is. Just, like, leveling up, increasing stats, all that stuff. There's a lot of menuing, which I think that's what mainly turns people off from JRPGs. But that I really enjoyed. I don't know. Also, in the first game, I think the story and characters significantly better in the second one. I don't want to like get into the story too much. I know people people probably don't want spoilers and stuff like that. I don't even think I could begin to start talking about it just because, like, there's a lot of stuff to the story. But yeah, I like this first one significantly more. Better characters, better story, better world. Overall, I just like the concept of it. If you don't know, like, the entirety of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, it just takes place on like two giant robots that are now dead, and they're just like frozen there in like mid I don't even know. It's two giant robots, and they were like frozen mid fight, and like all of civilization and everyone just lives on these giant robots, and it's just like it's something so like weird and random that's cool. The second one, okay, I guess I'll start talking about the second one more now. In the second one, everything takes place, in the sky on these giant creatures, which is cool, but it didn't feel as original as the first one. I like just how random the first one was. Just two giant robots, cool. The overall, I won't talk about the lore too much, but the overall lore of Xenoblade Chronicles is like really cool just because of how crazy it is. But okay, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, definitely worse. I think, I feel like gameplay wise, because I haven't really talked about that, the second one feels like it's more like friendly to newer players. It feels more intuitive. Everything relies on like, okay, this is probably like only, I won't even say major. It's not that big of a complaint, but everything in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 relies on like the blade system. And if like the gameplay mechanic of blades, and if you don't know what that is, I don't know if I want to explain it too much, but it's pretty much just you have your main party. You have like four, yeah, you have your main party, and then you attach like different characters to each person in your main party. So each person will have like three characters you can attach to them, and you get way more blades. And these, yeah, those are the blades that are the characters you attach to your main party. And so everything about the character in your main party mostly relies on what blade they have, like their weapon, all their stats, whether they're like a tank or a healer or whatever. That all relies on the blades. And so I feel like that immediately makes it so I didn't really switch my main party, and I didn't really care about my main party. And that's both because of this gameplay thing where it's like I don't need to switch the characters because it's like I can just change which blade they have active rather than using a different character, because the blade is what decides everything about the character. And then also I didn't care about the main party just because I feel like the characters and story in general were worse. But also the blades, oh, I lost my train of thought. Just I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know. Well, I think you get so many blades, and it just comes to a point where, and they also do the thing where they make the blades like. I'm probably gonna be ranting about this for a while, but I'll continue on. In Xenoblade Chronicles, there's heart to hearts, and these are what really, like, it's just a quick interaction between two characters, and it's really good. In the first one, I think these are perfect. They give the characters more depth, and in the heart to hearts, you get one or two choices of dialogue for whichever character you're controlling the dialogue is, so that you can improve the affinity between two characters, and that's really cool. In the second one, heart to hearts, they were just worse because your decisions, they didn't matter as much. And the first one is like, okay, you have a decision. If you choose this one, they'll increase your affinity, but if you choose the wrong one, it'll decrease it. In the second one, you just pick whichever one, and it doesn't really matter. And also in the heart to heart, sometimes they bring the blades in, and that would just kind of bug me a bit because it's like there's so many blades that I don't care about them, and so like I didn't feel like they were needed to add much to the story. And so a lot of things about the second one, I feel like I've been complaining a lot, but overall, it's still a great game. It's just fun. Like I was complaining a bit, but I'm not gonna I don't think it's S tier though. I might have to put it high A. I think I'm fine with that for now. Okay, Nintendo Switch Sports. I don't know. This one, going from Xenoblade Chronicles to talking about Nintendo Switch Sports, I just have way less to say. It's just like a fun sports game. I know it's probably not better than Wii Sports, honestly, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to choose Wii Sports over Nintendo Switch Sports. I feel like it's just a different experience. It's a solid game. I'll put it at like the bottom. Put it at the bottom of B, because it's like, I don't know what to say about it. Also, it is cheaper than like your standard game. I think it's $35 or $30, somewhere around there. Whereas your standard game's like $60. And so I feel like you have to be aware this isn't going to be like a full on gaming experience. It's just a fun little game. So, something you have to take into account. Okay, Metroid Dread. Absolutely fantastic. This was my first experience into the Metroid series, and I just had a blast with it. I'm putting it in S tier immediately. I don't think there was ever a time where I straight up I was always having fun the entire time while playing the game. It's just I don't even know. It's just you keep going and going, and you get so like absorbed into the game because it's just fun. I don't even know what to say about it. It's fast paced and everything. I think it has the right amount of difficulty where you don't get too frustrated. When you die, it feels like you can just get right back into the action and you just keep going. And so it doesn't hurt as much when you die, but it's still like it's still hard enough that you obviously don't want to die. And so I don't know. It's just the perfect level of difficulty that just keeps you wanting to play more and more. I thought at first, I think one of the things I was concerned about was as I started getting more and more abilities, I thought, oh, I'm gonna get confused by all the buttons. There might be some abilities I don't use. The game does such a good job at making you utilize just everything, making you use all your different equipment that you get, and it just feels natural. The flow of gameplay, using those abilities, and you're going to be using all of them, even if you don't think you will be, just because of how many you have. But yeah, I'm putting that right in S tier. That's where it belongs. Okay, Earthbound. I'm actually going to talk about Earthbound Beginnings. Earthbound Beginnings, I like. Okay. I know everyone likes Earthbound more, and I also like Earthbound more, but I think people are being a bit too critical of Earthbound Beginnings. Or I know there's another name it goes by, but I forget. Earthbound Zero or something like that. I don't know. Earthbound Beginnings, it's a great game. Okay. It I don't know. It was just such a fun experience. I think so many people just overlook it because of Earthbound, which is a significantly better game, but I don't know, it just has such a nice charm to it that I have a hard time just putting into words because it's just a great game. And yes, it does have its flaws. I think, random enemy encounters, yeah, that's frustrating. The scaling of difficulty is a bit just iffy, but I don't know. Despite all of its flaws, I had such a fun time playing it. I'm also trying to figure out, I don't want to give everything such a high score. But, okay, I might move Nintendo Switch Sports down to C. Oh, wait, let me... Dead Cell's probably behind Ocarina of Time, maybe. Okay. Earthbound Beginnings is... it's probably right around Majora's Mask, and I don't know. It's probably behind. Okay. Okay, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I have anything else to say about Earthbound Beginnings. It's just cool. I don't know. If you haven't played it, and just because everyone else talks about Earthbound only, you just go and play Earthbound Beginnings. It's fun. The characters are all, charming. They're good. They're just... I don't know. I don't know if people actually are sleeping on Earthbound Beginnings or if this is something I made up in my head or something, but you should be checking it out. Earthbound, okay. Earthbound's definitely better. Okay. Is it... Oh, I'm having a hard time with this now. Because I'm having a lot of these in A tier right now, and I feel like I might need to be a bit more critical. Okay, Earthbound's definitely not going down to B. That's for certain. I'm trying to figure out. Should any of these be... Okay. It might be right there. I don't know. It's just another great game. Same thing with Earthbound Beginnings. it just feels like, great characters. It's very charming and everything. I don't know. I'm trying to also remember because I played these ones a while ago too. My memory on them is not as great, but okay. I'm trying to figure out what I have to say about it, but I can't think. Okay, in both games, the final boss is very cool. Okay. Also, Earthbound, the world and everything. I might just call it Mother 2 just because I think that's easier. I don't know. I myself keep getting confused by the different names. Mother 2, definitely a better world. It's so much. It's definitely more fun to explore than Earthbound. I mean, oh, okay. I'm already missing out. Mother 2, better world than Mother 1. Now, okay, now that I'm thinking about maybe using the different names might just complicate things more. I'm just gonna leave this here. That's where it belongs probably. Okay, I'm actually going to talk about Star Fox 64 because I don't know. I just randomly decided to put this in. Very quick game. Took me like just a few hours to beat. It's not that hard, but it's hard enough. I don't know. B tier. I don't know. It's fun. Okay. Skyward Sword. I'm pretty sure Skyward Sword is one of the controversial ones, if I'm correct. Just because it's like, I don't know. It's definitely, I can understand why that would be. Just because, I don't know. I really like Zelda. This is the first game, like, in the timeline, technically. The timeline is really confusing, but I know this is the first game. You can definitely tell if you've played the game that, oh yeah, this is the first game. And I think it's definitely a good game. Oh, I feel like my brain's starting to get fried. This video is not even too terribly long, but okay, let's see. Is it better than Ocarina of Time? Let's see. I think I had a better time. I don't remember. I think this one was also another one I played earlier in the year. Because I'm also trying to remember all the bosses, because the bosses are a pretty significant part. Okay, okay, actually, I'll start with, like, the temples. The temples in Skyward Sword, I think, were pretty good. And all the challenges leading up to the temples as well, I think those were all, like, good. I was never, like, too frustrated, which is probably a pretty big factor for me. I like puzzles, but there just comes a certain point where it feels like the puzzles sort of take you out of the experience, because these are supposed to be adventure games, and so when you get too much caught up in the puzzles, it's a bit frustrating. Okay, Skyward Sword actually is going into A tier. The final battle for Skyward Sword is actually just not top of A, is like one of the best final boss fights I've ever done. Like, maybe not the boss fight itself, but everything, like the boss himself and just like where the battle takes place. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna spoil it just because I think everyone should. Everyone should play this game. I'll say that. By the way, this is Skyward Sword, like, remastered. So, just in case you weren't aware, I did say all these games are on Nintendo Switch. So yeah, this is a remastered version. It's a good game. I enjoyed the story, which is something I don't know. I think in the other Zelda games, I didn't care about this story as much. Like Ocarina of Time, that story was fine. I think Majora's Mask was the story of it. It was cool and everything. I think it might be better than Majora's Mask. I don't know. Now I'm thinking, does Earthbound Beginnings go down a tier? I think I'm getting too much caught up in the fact that I feel like people are underrating Earthbound Beginnings, that now I'm trying to, like, overrate it. So I don't know. Maybe it's like top of B. Oh, Zelda. Okay, Skyward Sword better than Borderlands 2. I feel like I didn't say much about Borderlands 2. I don't know. It's a fun game, but I feel like, okay. I also played Borderlands 2 more recent. I don't know if there's some recency bias for me. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I'll do. I only have one left, which is Dark Souls Remastered. The game's fine. I don't know. I think all of my opinions on it are things people have said before. There's a lot of great things about it. There's a lot of bad things. It starts off good. It gets worse later on. These are all things people have heard before. I don't think I have anything too original. I think something I hate the most is just the boss runs, I think people call them. Just where when you die, where you start, you have to go through a bunch of enemies to get to the boss again, and that's just, it just feels annoying. Like, there's a lot of things in this game where it's like, okay, you're not doing this to make the game hard, you're making it more tedious and just annoying. And you don't really need to do that. I think, like, it might be C tier. I had a lot of great moments, but like, okay, I'm gonna say this. I didn't even beat the game. I got to the final boss. I played him like a bunch of times, and then I was like, I don't even care about beating this because I just don't really enjoy the game. So why would I even beat it? And I don't know. Maybe people will get mad at me for like, I pretty much beat the game. I shouldn't even say I pretty much beat the game. I've played all of the game. That's how I should say it. I've played all the games, so I think I can rate it. I didn't beat the final boss, but I don't know. I played him a few times and I was just like, I just don't even care. The final boss wasn't too crazy or interesting, and it's just, oh, I don't know. There's a lot of things that just sort of are eh. There's a lot of fun moments, and it's fun to be challenged, but it became a bit tedious as I went on. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know. I feel like I should be reordering some of these, but I can't figure it out. Maybe I should just be done with it, just to be done with it. Okay. Yep. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not even gonna try to figure this out because I don't even know what I would do. So yeah, this is my ranking. I'm sure lots of people probably disagree. So please tell me what you think. I don't know. Are my tastes weird? I think I'm fine with my taste. Also, I think I said this at the start of the video. How many video games do you normally play? Would you say this is probably about how many most of you guys play? I genuinely don't know. Like, okay, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, like those games, like I think both of those were like around 100 hours. That's a lot of time. So I think I've played quite a bit. I think I don't play very many smaller games. I think that's the thing. But I didn't put anything in D tier because I will say all these games are great games. Like, all the negative things I said about them weren't that significant. Okay, seeing Nintendo Switch Sports in C tier is just like, okay, I put Switch Sports in C tier just because it's hard to really rate a game like that. Like I'm not gonna say that's S tier, you know, the best game ever made. It's hard to really say that when it's just like a fun, stupid little sports game. But you know, I'm fine with this. That's my list. Tell me your thoughts. Save the blobfish, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.